Hi everyone, Laura Mackey here. Today I wanted to give you a couple of little tips in Lightroom. I want to first talk about moving folders within Lightroom. You'll notice here on the left-hand side I have some photos. We're in the library module and you can see the hierarchy that I use for my photos. These are photos that I've already imported. So we're past that step now and we're looking at our hierarchy and deciding that I want to move a folder with all of the images from one directory to another, or one folder to another. So I'm going to go ahead down here and use this Have and Use Playtime as an example. Let's say I don't like the location of this folder. I went and imported them to this location. At the time I thought it made sense. But what if later I decided, oh, I don't like them in that directory. I want to move them somewhere else. Perhaps I want to move them to June. All you have to do is click on that folder, hold down, and then drag it to the new location, June. So I clicked and dragged, and you'll see now that Lightroom is now going to move all of those, the folder and all of the pictures in that folder to June. Sorry, my computer is just slightly slow in populating all this, and that may happen to you as well. I'm waiting for my new computer to be delivered, so that will no longer be the case. It should be very quick. It should just, it shouldn't be delayed like that. If it is, you know that your computer is running out of RAM. But anyway, you'll see here that now this Have and Use Playtime resides in June. Now, it also moved them on the hard disk. It didn't just move them within Lightroom, it moved them on the hard disk because Lightroom, when you move something, moves it on the hard disk because it's forming a catalog and remembering where those photos are. And that's how Lightroom works. It will record when you've moved something from one location to the other. One note is you never want to move folders that are already, files that are already imported into Lightroom. You never want to move them using your computer's native file manager or finder. If you do that, if you move things that are already imported in Lightroom, but you move them outside Lightroom, Lightroom will not be able to find those photos because it doesn't know where you didn't do it in Lightroom. Lightroom has to be aware of the move. So that's why you move everything using Lightroom. That is very important to remember. If you actually do move something outside of Lightroom that's already been imported, what will happen is you'll see a bunch of exclamation points when you go back to Lightroom because it says the file is missing because it can't find it. That's usually a note to you that, oh, I've moved something somewhere outside of Lightroom and it can't find the folders. Or you may get the exclamation point if you have some files that are on your external drive that you've unplugged. For instance, like this external drive, I have folders from 2012 to 2014. If I click on that, you'll see all these exclamation points here. It just means that it can't find the photo because I have that external drive unplugged. And actually, you would see these photos. It's just my computer is so slow it won't even populate the thumbnails, unfortunately. That's quite unfortunate. Let's go to this one. Well, normally you'd see the thumbnails. You would see thumbnails, but you just can't access the photo because the file is missing. Once I plug in that hard drive, it will recognize that hard drive, and then these exclamation points will go away. And that's fine for the external drive photos. However, when you're on your hard disk, it should always be able to find those photos. There should be no exclamation points because they're on your hard drive. If you do see those exclamation points and they're on your hard drive, it's because you probably moved something outside of Lightroom. And so you just need to be aware that you need to stay within Lightroom to move within Lightroom. Even if you wanted to move, for instance, this folder, Sunrise and SF, to my external, you need to do it within Lightroom. You would just click here and drag to this location down here in your external if it was connected. So that's how you move things around in Lightroom. Let's say I wanted to move the file folder back with all the files in it. I would go ahead and just click on it, and then I could click and drag it to the folder I want, which is 2018. click and release, and then Lightroom moves it back to the spot it was before. Now I want to talk a little bit about renaming photos, because when you import your photos, Lightroom gives it a default called Untitled -1, -2, and so on. It just numerically gives the untitled file name, and it just keeps doing that for all the photos. And that's okay. However, I like to have my file names, or my images, to have the event name as the file name. Like if I were to go click on my sunrise in San Francisco, you'll see that each one has a file name, sunrise in SF-4, sunrise in SF-5, and so on. I like it to be that way because it keeps it cleaner to me, and it's easier to look for things as well. So let's just do that in Havanese Playtime. You'll see again, these are all called Untitled. If I wanted to rename them all, I would just go ahead and click Control or Command A, and that highlights all of them. I come up here to Library, click that, go down to Rename Photos, and then you get this dialog box. There are some choices in the first box, but I like Custom Name -sequence, because then it'll use your custom name that you designate, and then go -1, -2, -3, and so on for each file. So you can try the others, but for this demonstration, we're going to choose this one because that's the one I use. And I'm going to give it a name called Havanese Playtime. And you'll notice that you can have spaces, and that's fine. So I like that, Havanese Playtime. And you'll see here that it gives you an example. Havanese Playtime -1 will be the name of the first photo. You can tell it where to start. Like if I wanted to just start at the photo 9, or the number 9, I should say, it just starts numbering with a 9. But I always find that I like to start with number 1 because it just makes more sense. So, and that's how it will look on your image, the file name. So I'm going to click then OK, and now it's going to go through. Up in the upper left, you'll see a progress bar. It's very quick. Doesn't take long to rename photos. And it renamed them. It's all done. So if I hover over the first one, you'll see it's Havanese Playtime -1. Go to the next one, Havanese Playtime -2, -3, -4, and so on. So then it's all done. If you do Controller Command A again, Controller Command A, or Controller Command D, pardon me, Controller Command A highlights them all. Controller Command D deselects. I'm hoping that was clear. So anyway, you need to deselect them when you're done. That's just a good habit to get into, to deselect. So I like to rename all my files within a folder that event name, whatever it is. Like San Francisco murals, I think I renamed them. I might not have. Let's see. No, I didn't rename those. Oh yes, I did. Urban photography. Yeah, they're just sorted in different. They're not sorted ascending, so you don't see that there. And there was one that I didn't rename because I probably didn't like it or something. But anyway, that's what I try to do with all of my photos. That way, if I want to search for something, I can search for it. I can search for the word SF or murals or whatever it is, and I can find them. So I wanted to go a step further and show you about that search. They're called filters in Lightroom, and they're very helpful to look for things. So if I go up here to the top, I'm still in the library module, you'll see it says library filter. Let's say I want to find everything with the text, and I want any searchable field. In other words, I don't want to restrict it to a file name or a keyword. I want any searchable field, which means anything here below. And then I want it to say contains all, because that will capture everything. And let's just say I want to find the word, everything to do with sunset. So I'm going to type the word sunset. Oops, there's nothing. Why is that? Oh, because I'm highlighted on SF murals. There were no files in that folder with a keyword or a file name that contained the word sunset. However, if I come back up here to the top, and let's just click 2018, well, of course, there are lots of file names with the word sunset, and keywords. You'll notice here, like this one, when I hover over it, the file name is Sunrise in SF. However, if I click on it and go over here to the right to look at the keyword, oops, you'll see that in here, there is a keyword called Sunset, and that's because I have a folder called Sunrise and Sunset. And Sunrise Sunset is the folder name. So it's picking that up because I typed sunset in this search box because it sees this word sunset. Whoop, get that out of there. It sees the word sunset in the keyword box. So I really like that feature a lot. It's a way to find your photos based on keyword or file name. Now there's other ways to search too, which I wanted to show you. By the way, you saw me X out of that box up there. I don't know if you saw that. Let me type that word again, sunset. And then if I click the X, it deletes it. So now we're back to with no filters. However, there's another way of doing that. I'm going to type that word back in there. If you click the word none, that says no filters. You don't want any filters. I like getting in the habit of using that word none because I may have other filters attached. And I don't want to get confused. I want to make sure I'm just using the filter that I'm actually interested in at the time. So if you click none, that just resets all of these values, not just that one that you were looking at. So other ways to search, I'm going to go through all of these, is metadata. I love the metadata search field. When yours comes up, yours may look like that. And while that is useful, you can still use the scroll bar. You'll see over here under camera, I'm scrolling. It's kind of hard to see. I like to expand while I'm searching so I can see more of this information right away. So metadata allows you to look for camera, lens, focal length, or flash. I hardly have any flash. So I can look for everything that I took with my little travel camera. Or I can look through everything taken on my Sony mirrorless, or even my iPhone because I imported some of my iPhone photos. Not many, but I did. Or my Nikon camera. You can further refine if I wanted to look for everything that was taken with my 14 to 24. So all this year I only took 4 photos with that particular lens, and that was when I did the Milky Way. Or I could look for that lens. You can even further refine it if I want to find everything at a 24 millimeter focal length. So you can see it's pretty powerful. It's very handy. I really like that a lot. So I'm going to reset this filter by clicking the word none. And now we're going to go ahead and look for attribute. This is the last one. So I'm going to click that. And as an example, I'm going to go down to, I think, this Havanese Playtime. And we're going to go ahead and show you what the attribute can do. But before I show you what that can do, I wanted to discuss a little bit about ratings and colors because attributes have to do, and you'll see I've clicked this attribute, it has to do with the color ratings or these star ratings and some other things. But mostly I use the color ratings and the star ratings. And what is that exactly? Well, if I'm looking at let's say I've imported these just now, all of these pictures into this Havanese Playtime, and I'm looking at these in big screen and I'm going through them, and I want to know, like, as I'm going through them, there's so many, there's 136. How ever am I going to decide which ones to keep and which ones to delete? Well, I don't like to delete anything right away. I like to rate them, and then I sort by rating, and then I delete the ones that I don't like. So that's what I do. So what you can do is, you'll see down here at the bottom of any image you're clicked on in the library module, you'll see there's some stars here and some colors. I give the photos that I really like 5 stars, so you can click 5 star, or you can just click the number 5. And that gave that star rating, and it advanced to the next one. So let me go back to the grid view, and I'm going to go down. Oops, where's my 5-star rating? So see how all of a sudden now I need my filter. I can't find my 5-star rating file. Where is it? So where is it? Okay, well, I'm going to find it. So I'm going to use this filter. I'm going to highlight attribute, and I'm going to click 5 stars. Ah, there it is. So now I can find it. That's why the filter is so powerful, because right there you can see I needed it because I couldn't find the file. I'm going to click none. Oh, there it is. Now we can see it down there. I don't know why I didn't see it, but I didn't see it. So anyway, I like to use that filter or that rating system as I'm going through my photos. I know, he's cute, isn't he? I can hardly stand it. Anyway, so I like that photo. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 5-star rating. So I'll show you. You can also click, oops, the 5 stars, but there we go. I clicked 5 and it gave it that 5-star rating. And I can use my arrow key to go to the next one. Oh, you'll see that one's there already. And then I like that one too. I like that's a 5-star. I'm going to go to the next one, and you know, that's okay. It's kind of a weird look. Maybe I only want to give that 3 stars. And I go to the next one. I like that a little better, 4 stars. So you can use this as a rating tool. That's cute. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm now using the keys because I find it to be much easier. I'm going to give this a 2-star. Go to the next one. Oh, there's our neighbor Pat with her dog Rusty and Buster. I love that one, 5 stars. So you can see and go through your pictures like this as you're looking at them after you import them. And then once you've finished that, you can then now sort it by rating. So I'm going to go ahead and sort it by, you click here, it says asks you what do you want to sort it by. I want to sort it by rating. And then I either want it ascending or descending. So you just click one or the other, and then you'll see all the rating ones show up at the top, and then there are no ratings after that because those are the lowest. They have no rating at all. And then you can go through, maybe you don't like all of these ones you didn't rate, and you can click the first one and hold down the shift key and click the last one, and it will then highlight all the ones that you really want to delete, and then you can delete them. I'm not going to delete them, but let's just say there's one that I want to delete. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just look at one that I want to delete. Let's say it's that one. So if I wanted to delete this because I didn't want it any longer, I would then click the delete key, and then it brings up a box. What do you want? Do you want to delete it totally from your disk, and it'll get rid of it from the disk, and it'll get rid of it from Lightroom? Or do you just want to remove it from Lightroom? That means the picture will still exist on your hard disk, but it won't be in Lightroom anymore. But I don't want it at all. So I'm going to just say delete from disk. Now it has been deleted from your hard drive and deleted from Lightroom, and then it's gone. So that's kind of how I manage how I sort through my files. And then later, if I want to find these photos with my 5-star photos, for instance, you could go to the folder that you want to look for these ratings. Let's say I want to go to 2018 and I want to find all the files that I added a 5-star to. You'll see that this was already highlighted. That was from my last search. So you can click 1 star or 2 stars, whatever you want to find, and then it will bring up those in your filter. So it's kind of nice. I like how you can find things this way, find all your 5 stars or 1-star ratings. Now you have to make sure that to the left of this, you'll see this little equal sign. Right now, that's how I have mine set up. It says, I want to find all my 5 stars that are equal to. You can do less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. I like to just do equal to. So when I click 5 stars, I am now bringing up all my 5-star photos, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So that you might want to check to see, if you hover over it, you can see what it says, and you might want to change it, and you can do that by just clicking once and then checking whatever one that you like. I mean, everybody's different, so you might have something different that you want. So if I don't want any ratings at all, then you can just, what you do is you can just go to 1 and then unclick the 1, and then there's nothing. So you kind of have to, it's a little clunky about that. So if you're on 5-star, you can go to 4-star, or then 3-star, then 2-star, then 1-star, and then finally unclick it to get to 0. and that's one way of doing it. Or when you're on 5-star, you can just jump down to 1 and then just click it again to be 0. The other attribute you can use are colors. I do colors for some things. Everybody's different in how they want to look at their photos. Sometimes I'll do color if I'm have a virtual copy, and virtual copies or something else, but if I want to be able to find it, here's a virtual copy. Let's just make that one red. I'm going to go ahead and click on this once, and then here's a red. I'm going to make that a red color. If I want to find all my red photos in 2018, I'm up here still in the filter, still under attribute, and I click red, and it brings up everything that I've assigned red, which is only one all year. I have a tendency to use mostly stars, but sometimes colors are helpful for comparing too. Like, for instance, I'm going to go ahead and deselect the red to get back so that all my photos are here. If I wanted to compare photos, for instance, if I want to compare, let's go to Havanese Playtime because it's very easy to see how you'd want to compare. If I wanted to go down and compare, let's say this photo, I'm going to make that red, so I'm going to highlight the red, and I want to compare it with that photo, and I'm going to highlight that one red. There, it made it red. It's easy to find them then. If I want to compare, I could just highlight that one, and I go find the next red, and I highlight that one, and I say, oh, I want to compare them. So I can do that very quickly by color coding and then comparing. Because sometimes the files or images you want to compare aren't right next to each other. They could be further apart. So how do I remember which one? Sometimes it's like I'm looking and I go, oh, I like this one here, and then I'm scrolling down, oh, I like this one. I wonder what this one looks like with the one that was way in the beginning. So the way I find them quickly is I will color code them and then click this XY, which means the ones that you selected, you're going to compare. I don't know if that made sense, but you'll see here that they're both red. They have a red box here indicating that I've assigned them a color code. And again, they are highlighted. The ones that are highlighted are the ones that I'm going to compare. So the red is sort of useful when you're sort of doing a lot of comparisons. That's how I use them. But you can also use them for ratings. If you like everything that you really love has a red color, that's fine too. You can then, I still have the filter open, I can then select red, and you'll see, oh, it brings up all my red photos in this folder. If I were to go to 2018, I still have that filter on. It also includes this other one that we saw earlier that has a red flag or red color code. So now I have 3 that have red color codes. So that's what the filter is bringing up. To close that filter, I can either click this, which will then bring it, say no color code, or I can just select none. I like none because none resets all the filters above. Notice that we still have the color codes on these files because those were color codes we assigned to the individual picture. The filter up top just filters everything below it to find things that either have stars or colors. But on the picture itself, we rated that picture with a red color. You can always delete that red by highlighting the picture and then saying you don't want it to be color-coded red any longer. And then you can delete the red from the file. Anyway, I hope that those 2 things, or those few things, were helpful to you in managing your photos in Lightroom. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.